Watercolour is such a wonderful medium, and this month is World Watercolour Month, and I want to encourage you to take part and get the most out of it. My name's Liz Chadderton. I'm a watercolour artist based in Berkshire, and every week I bring you tips and tricks about watercolour. And this week I want to tell you what World Watercolour Month is, what it isn't, how to take part and how to get the most out of it. Well, it takes place every July, and it started in 2016 by Charlie Shields over at Doodlewash. Brilliant idea to celebrate everything that's brilliant about watercolour. And the idea is that artists of any description, amateur, professional, new, experienced, whatever, throughout July, when you paint a watercolour, you share it on social media and you need to hashtag it with World Watercolor Month. And for Brits and other nationalities, just remember there's no U in watercolour in that hashtag. And then lots of the paintings get added to a sort of a global gallery, and people can share, and we're all united by watercolour. That's not going to stay, is it? So that's what it is, and they do have professional ambassadors as well. So I'm not a professional ambassador. This is just my thoughts on World Watercolour. When you get halfway through the month, you might be getting pretty fed up because it can be a long one. So I want to share some tips for getting the most out of it. And my first tip is work out why you're taking part. Is it to learn a new skill? You know, is it that you want to practice pen and wash, or you want to I don't know, do more wet in wet work or get looser, whatever your skill is. Is it that you want to, you know, attack a new subject? Maybe you want to do more landscapes. Is it just that you want to be part of something big? How wonderful to be with thousands of others, joined by something positive rather than kept apart by negatives. Or, you know, you think, well, if I did a challenge, I'd have more time to paint. If you work out what you want from this, it'll help you get more out of it. The next thing is to know, and I really like this, that the whole setup is just not prescriptive. Now, some people will do 31 paintings in one day. Oh, sorry, in one day? In 31 days. Some people will just do once a week. Some people one painting in the month and post updates, and some will dip in, dip out, do their own thing. So be realistic. You know, if you are going to be away on holiday, you might have more time, you might have less time. It's the 4th of July. A lot of Americans are going to be really busy on the 4th of July. Maybe you won't have time to do anything. So I literally go through my diary, gosh, such a mess, and work out, you know, oh, I'm meeting friends for lunch on the 5th of July. There is no way I'm going to have time to do anything. I will be aiming to do about 3 paintings a week, and I am not going to beat myself up if I don't achieve it. Sometimes I will literally go through my diary and write in the topic of the day and what I plan. So that can help if that's the sort of person you are. The prompts. So these are this year's prompts. And Angela Fair, who is one of the artist ambassadors, has put these together. And a lot of people say, oh, do I have to do them? And the answer is no. These are literally to help you if you don't know what to paint. But people do like to do them because then you can compare your, oh, I don't know, drift to several thousand other drifts. Well, that's fine, but people look at these and think, oh, I'm not very inspired. I like painting animals, and it's a train. Well, I think there are really 3 ways of looking at these prompts. So you can think of them really literally as a noun. So if it's a train, you know, choo-choo, off we go. It's a train. Or slightly less literally, but still a noun, you could think about, oh, I don't know, the train on a wedding dress. That's a type of train, isn't it? You could also think of it as a verb. So I am in training. So you could do, I don't know, athletics. You could do a picture of a paintbrush because you are training to paint. Training your dog, you know, that would be training. The other way is to start getting a little more abstract and say, again with train, you could think about your train of thought. And you could follow where that goes. So today your train of thought is taking you to summer holidays, and there you go. Or it could be an abstract again, just following your emotions and your train of thought. So each of these could be looked in those ways. Let's look at another example. Goal. It can be a goal. Football, basketball, whatever. Or it could be to have a goal. It could be your aim. Your goal is to get to the top of the mountain. More abstract, your goal in life is happiness, and you paint something that is happy. If you hate being told what to do, just throw these prompts away. Do not stress about them. A couple of ideas that you could do is to grab a book off your bookshelf or go to the library or whatever, and actually work your way through one of these books. So, you know, tiny little book from, oh, I don't even know what date, by Hazel Sohn, back in 2005. 10-minute watercolours. Yeah, if you've worked out that you've got a limited amount of time and you want to expand your skills, that was what you thought you'd like to do, then maybe working your way through with a lesson a day, 10 minutes, would be really good to do. Or what about something like this, the Watercolour Ideas book with Joanna Goss? There are all sorts of ideas in here, some of which will take more time or less time, and you could literally work your way through some of these ideas each day. In fact, I think that would probably take you a few months rather than just July. The one I am thinking of doing, because I'm thinking of taking this approach myself, is this book, which I've had for ages, Painting Nature in Watercolour by Ferdinand Petrie. And it's an old book. There you go, 1990. But it takes you through all sorts of challenges in painting landscapes and how this particular artist would address them. And what it does, it has a picture with the problem and his solution, and then he does it. But I really fancy going through this, using the picture and coming up with my own solution. Now, I don't know whether I am going to do it because I've already said I've got limited time and I think this might take too much. But working your way through a book like that, which you've been meaning to do for ages, would be a way of using World Watercolour Month really productively. Another thought, if you're already a member of something like Skillshare or one of those sorts of classes, marketplaces, well, do a different class each day. And again, use it productively. Use something you've already got, something that you've been intending to do that helps you meet your goal for this month. So you've got your plan and you know how much time you've got to spend and you know exactly what you want to achieve. So you might want to get together some supplies so that you're ready to go. So it's really tempting to get yourself a new sketchbook or some new supplies, but you know, maybe you've got something hanging around. Maybe actually that's the incentive that you need to get you going. And say I decided to do that 10-minute watercolours, this tiny little concertina that I've had sitting on the shelf could be brilliant. But if you haven't got new sketchbook, you could even make your own. So I've got a few tutorials about making your own little concertina sketchbooks and other types of sketchbooks here on YouTube. So maybe you could make yourself something to get yourself going. But don't go out and spend a fortune on supplies because you've got enough, and this is about the joy of taking part. The other thing that I think will help get you through the month is join a group. If you're on Facebook, there are so many really lovely supportive groups. I run a group called Watercolor Studio with Liz Chatterton, and you'd be welcome to join us. There are lots of others, so I'm not saying you've got to. And make sure you follow that hashtag, remembering know you in watercolour. And the final thing that I would suggest getting the most out of World Watercolour Month is to actually celebrate both daily and at the end. Daily, post your efforts, even if you've literally swatched out a colour that day and that's what you've done, because people are positive and supportive, and that will encourage you to keep going. And at the end, think about putting all your work into a book to keep it all together. Now this was actually Inktober, which is a really similar idea but with ink rather than watercolour, and I did a whole load of portraits for Inktober, and I put them all in a book like this, somewhat battered of course, but I really like flicking through this and seeing how much I achieved in a month. So you can get these sorts of scrapbooks very cheaply from Hobbycraft or The Works, and if you put all your work together, it gives you a real sense of achievement. So I hope you take part in World Watercolour Month. I hope you get out of it what you want, and most importantly, I hope you have a whole pile of fun doing it.